Great. And yeah, and let's maybe jump ahead and kind of hit on that 529,
Sure.
those 529 accounts. As coming from the wealth planning side, those are great tools for college savings. You get the great tax deferral
Mm-hmm.
for those college expenses. But again, there's also the other side from the tax piece on some benefits that you can get from using a 529. And can you go into that a little bit?
Sure. So the 529 plan in the state of Missouri, you can get a state deduction. It's only a state deduction, not a federal one, but you can deduct on a single tax return up to $8,000 and $16,000 on a joint tax return. So if you're at the top tax rate, and in 2020, that's 5.4% in Missouri. So if you've got if you contribute the maximum amount, you can save up to $432 or $864, given at that rate. So that's some savings, but the real benefit comes in the tax-free withdrawal of those funds when you do use them for education expenses. So once you put the money in, it'll grow tax-free, and as long as you use the funds for qualified education expenses, so you do need to be conscious of that when you do make the withdrawal. Tuition pretty much qualifies, but there are some other expenses that you can look to as well. So if you're thinking beyond just general tuition, make sure that those expenses are qualified expenditures. So those, whatever the account earns, all of that is tax-free when it's finally withdrawn. And then the other thing to consider is, you mentioned college education. Well, with the tax law changes in recent years, you can use the funds to pay elementary school education, grade school, as well as high school. So K through 12, you can use up to $10,000 per student per year to pay for those expenses. St. Louis has a lot of private education institutions, and so it can be used for that as well. So investing early into the 529 plans can be very key. So,
great. Yeah, no, thank you for expanding on the secondary school, because that's definitely a new rule that people are starting to utilize.
Yeah, it's a new thought process. I think not everybody's needs it or will be able to benefit from that, but it is a new feature. And there's also a feature now where you can pay up to $10,000 against student loans, and that's a lifetime expenditure from the 529. You can't do that every year, but at least that's another benefit that you can use for the 529 plans for. And I don't know, did you want to discuss a little bit about maybe front loading 529 plans?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, so like I said, you can get a deduction of $8,000 or $16,000, single or joint. And so you can, though, contribute more than the amounts. And oftentimes an individual might want to, let's say, put some money aside for their grandchild, and they want to fund a large amount up front. Well, one thing we've had clients do is contribute up to, let's say, $75,000, because you can use the gift tax annual exclusion and apply it to a 5-year time period and spread it out. You do have to file a gift tax return, but you can spread it out as if you've gifted $15,000 per year to that individual. And so the benefit of that is really front load the 529 plan, and it now has a large amount and it will continue to grow tax-free. You're not waiting to fund it year to year, and right off the bat, you've got funding that's growing tax-free. So you lose a little bit on the deduction side because you don't get the deductions every year, but you still get the tax-free growth when you use it for qualified expenditures.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.